What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by My Music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound. And I do have a new song coming out very soon on June 27th. It is a remix of my track called Dreamin' by Deep Source, who is a fellow Splinterlands player. So make sure you check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, let's talk about SPS. I was following an interesting conversation in the Shard Room on Discord, the Splinterlands Discord. Essentially just people kind of waking up to this idea that, burning is really just a marketing gimmick. Burning does not increase the price of SPS. It is the buying of SPS, which, again, this is common sense, but I think a lot of people just get caught up in the hype, and especially those new to crypto or understanding just how, the economics of the game work, or just economics in general work. They're coming around to this idea and saying, like, man, we burned like 100 million, almost 100 million SPS. Like, what's going on? Why is the price not coming? Oh, why is the price coming back down? And essentially, it's what we've been talking about. Burning is just a marketing gimmick. Now, ultimately, burning can and will have a long-term impact on the amount of supply that's out there, but the only thing that really moves the price is demand. Supply can impact the kind of spike that we see, right? Because if, like, there's a lot of demand and a little supply, or very, very little supply, I mean, those are two different things, right? In terms of how they're going to move the price and spike it. So the thing is, we saw the price go up because people were anticipating the price to go up, and they were planning to buy and burn SPS for DEC. So what I think is important to recognize here is what Splinterlands truly needs, the ecosystem, the DAO, whatever it is, in order to get SPS being burned regularly, is that it needs to be, for lack of better words, like an unemotional burning. Because most of us, we have SPS, we have the stack that we are either, hoping that will grow in the future in value. We're using it in game for whatever, as you're staking it to get some kind of rewards, or maybe you're putting it in LPs, or whatever the case is, you're holding on to SPS for some kind of reason. And that could be anything from actually using it for in-game stuff and benefits, such as like staking to get, higher glint rewards and SPS rewards, or just speculating on price. But either way, there's this emotional element to it, right? And I know people are going to push back on that and say, well, no, maybe people are trading unemotionally. But you get my point, where everybody is buying it with the intention of doing something with it in the future, or having it mean something. Whereas when you look at why or how the price was moving in both times that the flywheel activated, during the Rebellion presale as well as the Conclave Arcana presale, the biggest driver of that and the biggest player of that, and this is something that I've always said, is going to be the team. And why is that? Well, okay, the team needs DEC to pay out back-end transactions for all the credits that come into the space. Any kind of transactions that use credits, the team needs DEC. So they'll have, they'll buy DEC if DEC is below peg, but if DEC is at or very close to peg, they will go out and unemotionally buy SPS at whatever price it is, because they are going to immediately burn it for DEC. So it doesn't matter if SPS is 0.0077 or SPS is at 77 cents, right? Like, it could be 100 times higher than this. The team is going to go out and, let's say, buy $30,000 worth of SPS and immediately burn it. And once again, this is the beautiful part, is that it doesn't matter what the price of SPS is, because they are still going to get the same amount, right? If they immediately buy or if they immediately burn after they buy, then they're going to have roughly that value. You spend $30,000 worth buying SPS, you move the price up, and then you burn it immediately, and you have $30,000 worth of DEC, right? Roughly 30 million DEC if DEC is at peg. So that is the kind of action that we need on SPS, right? So what you need is a combination of the people who are holding it, right, and a lower supply in the long run, and people that are constantly coming in and buying. Now, in this case, the team is going to be the biggest buyer, in my opinion, buyer and burner unemotionally of SPS. But as we saw probably during the presale, when DEC was close to peg, other people that want to buy things in game and pay DEC for them will or should do the same. Meaning that if they want to come in and buy SPS and burn it immediately for DEC, well, then they can do that. But most of the time, I would look at it this way and say, like, if you're going to come in and let's say DEC is at peg, you probably might be better off using credits, right? You can use a credit card and get some kind of cash back. That you don't have to worry about transaction and whatever, transaction fees and conversion fees and all that. So that, therefore, I think like that's probably why you see a decent amount of credits come into the space when we are close to peg. And when we're not close to peg, then it makes absolutely no sense for you to be buying SPS, right? Right now, you should be buying DEC because you get a 7% discount on anything that you're going to buy using DEC, right? So especially like a pack right now, that would roughly be like $4 or $1 for a starter pack. You're going to get that pack for 93 cents if you buy into DEC and then spend on that versus buying SPS, right? $1 worth of SPS and burning it for DEC. You're not going to have enough DEC at that point. Or at least, sorry, you would have enough DC, but you get my point. You're not taking advantage of the discount. So in looking forward, this is the importance of keeping DEC at peg. And at this point, right, and I've said this several times, but I think it bears repeating, we are now in a period of DEC overhang. And I've talked about this several times. Even one of the videos that I talked about said that we might be in this DEC overhang period until the end of summer, maybe even longer. I mean, who knows, right? But depending on how long we stay in that, we won't see that demand come in from the team where they just unemotionally buy DEC, and once DEC is back up to peg, they unemotionally buy SPS to facilitate those credits transactions. And in that way, right, nobody else in the ecosystem will be doing that either, right? Anybody who's buying SPS is either doing it for one of the reasons that I listed earlier, right? They want to build their stack, they want to get higher rewards in game, they want to speculate, they want to earn more vouchers, whatever it is, right? They're buying SPS for those reasons alone, and not the unemotional, like, let's just buy no matter what the price is. So once we can get to that and really keep it churning, that is going to be the key. And I feel like I sound like a broken record, and people are probably like, man, he's been saying this for like years now. And the truth is that it's because it's like, that's what the case is, right? We see this happen in waves, and I don't want to say that waves are necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just the dynamics of the market. But I would really love to see us stay at or very close to peg and maintain that for a long period of time. And it's just that when you get these huge demand drivers, these huge moments of like, demand spikes with these pre-sales, that's what leads to this overhang. So the good thing that I'll say about this is that if you take a look at how much DEC the company is currently sitting on, which is roughly 350 million DEC. I said that's roughly like 2-ish months worth of credits, right, that they're holding on to at this point. So if they're holding on to that much, and yet DEC is still doing decently well. I mean, we're only 7% away from peg. This is significantly better than where we were after Rebellion. So that is the silver lining here, is that, yes, SPS is falling because the demand for SPS has completely gone away. Nobody, at least nobody who's looking to buy products, which is really the biggest demand driver for SPS, and nobody who's looking to buy products is going to be buying SPS to burn it for DEC. There's still too much DEC out there, and the DEC that's out there is on a discount. So again, we're a little bit away from that, and maybe there will be certain things that come into the mix that lock up more DEC in the DAO, such as, this Yaba's Pickle promo that just started, maybe some things with land that come through in the future, maybe conflicts, entice people to buy more packs. Obviously, we do have the pack sale that's ongoing, but all of these things, right, all of these things will help to slowly churn through and eat up DEC. Not to mention any and all of the LP activities that we have in-game, right? Not outside of the game, but in-game. So the voucher LPs, the land LPs, all of those end up burning a little DEC, not too much, but a little DEC every day. All of the fees for using the market, right? Those burn DEC every day. Now, again, is it a lot? No, but slowly and steadily, we're reducing the amount of DEC in circulation, either by burning it or by locking it up in the DAO. So that is where we stand, right? And that is really what we need to get to, is this kind of unemotional, consistent buying pressure on SPS. Because as of right now, we're still trying to offset the amount of sell pressure that comes in from people that earn SPS in a variety of ways and then sell it as the reward token, right? So when we can get to a point where the amount of SPS being rewarded in US dollar terms is the same or less than the amount of SPS that's being bought, right? And it's just simple supply demand economics, right? Then obviously the price will start to go up. But we are still in a position where there's a lot of SPS inflation and dilution, and the amount of economic activity that's happening around the game is not enough, at least not on a regular basis. Obviously, when we get these huge demand spikes like the pre-sales, like maybe promo card sales, whatever it is, we will see movement in SPS, but it will be violent both to the upside as well as to the downside. So that's just kind of where we stand. Hopefully we can get to that place later on this year, and hopefully the team is focusing on other areas in which they can, provide more value to the ecosystem, that people are willing to buy DEC or use DEC or burn DEC for certain things, or we'll get there organically if we just let time play out. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.